Hey everybody, welcome back. David Eon here with another Mezco 112 Collective unboxing, and this is obviously the Mezco Toy Fair 2021 box, gift box, which has the black version of the Krig. And you can see this has already been dug all through, and there's a reason for that. I did not pull this apart. This package was stolen and recovered, and it was stolen because of an error on the part of Mezco. This is the Krig, Rumble Society Krig 13, it says on this piece of cardboard here. Stolen and recovered by the police. And some of the worst customer service that I've experienced in a long time, courtesy of Mezco, unfortunately. So bad so that I will no longer be purchasing anything directly from Mezco. And you know, if you want to see the whole story on that, I'm just pulling everything out here to show you. I did do a video on it when I received this package a couple of days ago. So that's it for what's in the box. I did a video on that and I put it up on the channel to explain to people my experience. And it opened up a can of worms for a lot of people because apparently there's a few people that have been through a similar experience. Here's the instructions. Nothing on the back. Here's this. And again, this has already been pulled apart. It was pulled apart by the person who misappropriated the package. Mezco delivered it to the wrong address in a different state. Here's a kerchief. And these are all little bits of this and that. Here's the jacket, like a leather cape or covering something that, well, it's pleather really. It's got a wire around it, as you can see there, that goes with the figure. The Slugfest Crypto Cog, it says, kind of like the old stuff that they used to do back in the day. Crypto things that you could order from cereal boxes. But they tore this all apart. And, you know, I checked it on that video to make sure everything is there. I think everything is here. Popeye 3 3/4 inch action figure, or 1/18 scale, if you will, because they're getting back into that. They've got a set on pre-order for 3 3/4 inch Popeye action figure set right now. And that's a bonus figure here. So yeah, just very disappointed with how Mezco treated me and all of that for a mistake that they made. There's a big sew-on patch, PSCC. See, sew-on, not iron-on. If something turns up, you know, here's some, this is from out of the box. Congratulations, you're the proud owner of Metzit. If I get something, if I see something I really want, a couple of pins, like the Destro that just dropped not too long ago, if I really want it, I'll just go get it third party, but I will not get anything directly from Mezco again. Mezco Toy Fair sticker. We're almost through all the bits and pieces. Comic book here. Oh, and like I was starting to say, here's a little hint of some other things they might make there. Purple, white, yellow. I can do without all this stuff. I really just wanted the action figure. You know, and they charge a whole bunch of extra money and then give you all this little bits of stuff. There's another sticker. Here's some trading card. Oh, that's a sticker. Trading cards. I have no use for this. You know, I really just want the figure, and they add all this extra stuff and then charge like an extra $50, $60, $70. And to me, it doesn't make any sense. And if it sounds like I'm a little bit bitter, keep in mind I'm just coming off of my whole ordeal with even getting this package back, and it's remarkable that I did. I didn't think the police were going to be able to help, and I'm grateful to the Topeka Police Department for stepping up there. Credit where credit is due, right? So here's the Krig box, Rumble Society, and we'll go ahead and start digging into this and check out the figure, check out the articulation. That's the bag that this was in. opens up like that with a magnet. It's attached, so that doesn't come off, right? Closes up like that, nothing on the back. And I'll go ahead and pull the trays out. And we'll take a look at the figure. And then when we're done looking at the figure, we'll test his articulation and then we'll put him in a pose. It's a sticker sheet. And I guess this tells you Black Spartan, Blood Force, Pale Drivers. I guess that says Murder Hornets. Letting you know who those characters are, I guess. They're in the comic book. And I'm sure they'll make everything there. This has already been pulled apart, so I may as well just go ahead and take these out. Well, like I said, if you want to hear that whole story, I'm going to put it... I'll put a link to it at the end of this video. Now here's a tray with some accessories. And we'll be taking a closer look at these in a moment. Here's this tray. Go ahead and lift that off. And here's the black Krig and all of his parts. And you can tell looking at this already, if you've seen enough Mezco stuff, that they really kind of just kit bashed this with bits and pieces from other things. I mean, some original, but a lot of kit bash, which is fine, you know. And it's an interesting original property. So we're going to go ahead and pull him out and stand him up here, and we're going to take a good detailed look at him. And here we are back with our Mezco 112 Collective Krig Black Spartan out of the box. And that is a helmet. The helmet does come off, and he does have a head underneath. And this is the second Krig because they made the Blood Force or Red Krig first. And the thing that stinks about these is when they have a Mezco exclusive like this, it sells out in less than a minute. And so you don't get a chance. You really don't get a chance. I got really lucky to be able to get this on the pre-order. I was shocked, really. I didn't think I was going to be able to get it because most of the time you can't when they have something that isn't common, if you will. But I did run into a problem. I know, I just can't let it go, right? I did run into a problem, and like I said, that'll be detailed. That's detailed in the other video. If you care to see it, the link will be at the end. All right, now I just want to concentrate on this because I am still a fan of 112 figures. I do like a lot of Mezco's work. I mean, sometimes it's hit or miss, and they produce something and you're like, I don't know about this. But sometimes they really knock it out of the park, like that Stormy Seas, Popeye, and Bluto 2-pack. That was an out of the park, like, ball game is over, excellent, well done set. You know, it's stuff like that that keeps you coming back. Just taking a look at the details here. Obviously, I did not get the red Krig. Don't know if I ever will. Aftermarket on that is high, and I don't like dealing with aftermarket on modern figures. I don't mind aftermarket on vintage because my heart really does lie in vintage mostly. There's a lot of good detail in the back. I prefer vintage to modern. And I don't think you should have to crawl and scramble to find modern stuff. Does that make any sense? Like, if it's a Target exclusive, it should be in Target, not at conventions and on eBay. Just saying. One thing I'll give them credit for right off, and I've brought this up time and again with Mezco, sometimes these stands do not work. The peg is usually too small and it doesn't hold the figure, but they have been getting better with that. As you can see, it's holding on really nicely, and that's something that I appreciate because You see that more with older figures, although that did happen with a figure that I had recently. The peg just wasn't very good. But recently it's been getting better, and it stinks because they fall over all the time when the pegs aren't very good. So we're going to take a look at the accessories, and then I'm going to take him off and test his articulation. I'm going to start right in the front here. And you get a pair of hands, and these are a pair of gripping gloved hands. And they're kind of rubbery. They're thick, but they're rubbery. And then we have a couple of, this one looks like a clasping hand, like maybe you can hold a tool. And then this one looks like a trigger finger hand. And I will test hand changeouts as well. And then one more hand, and this is like a reaching hand. So there's only 5 extras, 7 hands in total, and what's on the figure are fists. This is a wrap, which I showed earlier because it wasn't in the box. Goes around his shoulders. There's a hole right there, probably for the scabbard that's on his back so that it can show through. And it holds on with a wire that's in the top portion. I don't feel, oh there is. These 2 pieces have a wire, but I don't think there's a wire anywhere else. Oh, there is. Okay, okay. So the front and the back have a wire for flow effect, but not anything in the center. All right. The 1/12 collective little bag, which I never use, but some people swear by them, so that's okay. 4 magazines for this pistol. And the magazine does come out, so you can change that magazine if you want to, and it does rack like a regular pistol. A knife with a sheath fits in there like that. The gripping arm, which is standard. You know who I had a lot of trouble with was the Superman. For some reason, it won't tighten enough to hold him. The Christopher Reeve Superman, that's the last one I did a review on. I think that's the one that he won't stay on the stand very well. This thing, which kind of looks like a cutting tool, actually. Doesn't it look like there should be an arc in there? Like an arc welder. Some sort of a cutting tool, perhaps. I didn't read the little mini comic, so I don't know. Batteries, because he does take batteries, and I will put them in and test him. Some little bits of this and that. What looks like some various grenades, and maybe a communicator, and some other little odds and ends. I didn't want to open them up and have them fall out all over the place, but you can see that clearly there. Some sort of a swishing thing. Maybe the blade goes in this, or this goes on the blade. So this is a blade, and I imagine this is what goes in the scabbard on his back, or it might. Kind of Klingon looking knife there, and perhaps, yeah, that goes in there so that you can make it look like he's slashing with it. Maybe it's some sort of an energy blade. Feels fragile at the end. I would be careful. What is this? Oh, maybe this goes on here. It looks like it. Yeah, it does. Okay. So, flame or cutting effect. And then you've got this, which I guess is for the pistol or the rifle. Fits in there so you can make it look like you're firing a shot, which, you know, Mezco often includes pieces like that. And then what looks like a type of a shotgun. Oh, the stock comes out a little bit there. I don't know if anything else moves. It doesn't feel like it. But it does kind of resemble a shotgun. And there's what looks like a long... That could be a round in there. Not sure. And that brings us back to the figure. So we'll go ahead and take him off. Start testing his articulation. We'll take his helmet off. And that just kind of opens up there like that. See? It's just two pieces. Just like that. Take the plastic off. And there is the Krig's face. Really limited head articulation for Mezco. Side to side, barely any tilt, barely, and that's probably just incidental. Up and down, nothing. So that's very limited, and I imagine that you can do that. Yeah, you could change this head if you want to, and I guess that's a feature that's supposed to make the eye light up, just like with the cable figures. But this does not come out. It's not turning. This panel, I think, comes off, if I remember correctly from the instructions. Yeah, that goes up, this screws out, and we put the batteries in there. So we'll test the arms. Very stiff. And, you know, obviously there's some constriction because of all of the armor pieces. Up and forward to about there. Elbow jointing to about right there. If it's a double jointed elbow, I can't tell. It feels like it's a double jointed elbow, but obviously the armor pieces are going to block it from going up any higher. So that's as far as it's going to go. No bicep twist. Again, could be just constricted on account of the armor pieces. Forearm twist is present. That's something. The hands, about average. And we can go ahead and change one out and see how easy that is. They've been getting better with that because you see the pegs are a little bigger, slightly bigger. And hand change out, pretty simple. Side to side, like about that. That's not bad. Backward tilt, forward ab crunch, restricted. The back tilt is better than the forward crunch. Again, the armor blocking it. Twist, like about that. Legs, nice big split because this is not form-fitting fabric, so it's got a little looseness to it. The accessories are glued on. This looks like it's glued on, as does this. I mean, if it's sewn through, I can't see it. I would be real careful about accidentally pulling these off. Forward and backward leg movement is pretty decent. The right leg goes back better than the left one. Forward seated split, pretty good. Double jointed knees. Limited calf twist, and the rest of the movement is going to be in the ankle. So you get that little bit of side to side, not much. Up and down, also very limited. So not much articulation in the ankle there, and it's this sabaton that's blocking a lot of that. Now let's get the batteries in them and see how well that works. Alright, I've just put the batteries in. No problem getting the batteries in to the back panel. We'll go ahead and turn that on now, and you can see this lights up in the back. And then up front, that's the chest panel. And then, of course, the eye. And I'll cut some of the light here so that you can get a better look at that. It's nice and bright. And I've had problems with the lights in these before, like the Ghostbusters and Dark Side, where the light just does not shine through very well at all. Well, Dark Side's face lights up pretty good, but the Omega Blast eyes really don't even work. So that's not bad. And as you can see, they borrowed a lot from their Rob Liefeld looking cable figure. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and take him down into the museum and set him up with the other Mezco 112 figures and see how he looks. And here we are down in the museum, heading over to the 112th collective section. And there is the Krig in his new home. And I did have some technical problems with this figure, and I'm going to point those out. And if you've got this figure also, let me know if you ran into this. First of all, the helmet does not want to stay closed. If you try to reposition that helmet, it's going to pop open every time. It doesn't like to stay closed. I mean, it's not a huge issue, but it was worth noting. Secondly, of course, if you put the wrap all the way around, you can't see the light up feature at all. And I turned on cable because now you can make the comparison and see that they borrowed very heavily from cable here, with the whole light up feature and even some of the armor, a lot of the armor. As a matter of fact, Cable's armor is a little better, but the boots, the chest piece, a lot of stuff is very similar on Cable. The one thing that stood out for me the most was the hands. Now the trigger finger hand is okay, and I've got this sort of a gripping hand over here, or clutching, because I was going to try to have him hold the rifle with both hands, but it doesn't work. Both hands won't comfortably come across his chest well enough to grip that rifle without it starting to bend at the stock, and I'm afraid of breaking it, quite frankly. So I just stopped trying to do it. The other issue was with the traditional gripping hand that's designed for all the other tools. They don't really seem to work. Nothing will stay in those gripping hands. The knife, the pistol, the blade, whatever I put in the regular gripping hand won't stay in. It falls out. And I'm just wondering if anyone else got this figure and ran into that problem. Because it's kind of pointless to have gripping hands and accessories and you won't hold anything. Just saying. I mean, the figure looks okay otherwise. Kind of difficult to pose because he's so bulky. I mean, he looks cool just standing there with the wrap sort of floating there. And again, if you close the wrap all the way up, then you have no use for the lighted feature unless you just kind of, and you see that just sort of falls apart when you touch it. There goes the helmet. If you want to wrap them up and just have the face exposed so that you can see the eye, because the eye lights up and it's the opposite eye of cables. I don't know. So I don't know how I feel about this one. Again, he looks really cool, but I've run into some problems with him. Trigger finger hand works really well. No trouble changing out the hands. Leg articulation is really good. Arm articulation is limited, and for some reason my gripping hands don't want to work. And like I said, maybe it's just me, maybe you've got gripping hands and they work better. The light up feature works really well. Actually, it's a lot brighter even than cables, because I rarely turn these batteries on. So his light up feature is brighter than cables. It's working really well, I'll give him that. So what do you think, guys? Is this a figure that you would want? And what would you do with him? Maybe I'll just take the wrap off and display him without the wrap. Maybe he'll pose better. And here's the Christopher Reeve Superman, who's got a really good arch in his back, and he poses very well. Really excellent poses, flying poses for the Christopher Reeve Superman. That I think that's the last Mezco I reviewed. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comment section down below. Please do give the video a thumbs up if you got something out of it. Share it if you can, subscribe if you're new, all that good stuff. Check out some of the other videos if you have not. Hey, there's that Stormy Seas Popeye set. I really love that set. It's one of their best. Anyway, check out some of the other videos. We do a lot more than just modern unboxings and reviews. And what more can I say? But thanks for watching. And we will see you again soon.